सिंधुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। श्री गुरु। Thank you, Prabhuji, for allowing me to speak. Today we are today our sloka is from Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto, 18th chapter, 24th sloka. Creation of fourth order, Prithu Maharaj makes the 10th planet. So we have been listening to different from other devotees from previous slokas. The whole idea is how Prithu Maharaj makes Mother Earth to yield more, so that all the devotees can get sufficient food. Right? So here in this sloka, I'll read the translation first and then do the purport. Four-legged animals like cows made a calf out of bull who carries Lord Shiva and made a milking pot out of cows. Thus they get fresh green grass to eat. Ferocious animals like tigers transformed their lion into a calf, thus they were able to get flesh for meat. The birds made calf out of Garuda and took meat from the planet Earth in the form of moving insects and non-moving plants and animals. There are many carnivorous birds descend from Garuda, the winged carrier of Lord Vishnu. Indeed, there is a particular type of a bird that is very fond of eating monkeys. Eagles are fond of eating goats, and of course, many birds eat only fruits and berries. Therefore, the words sharam referring to moving animals and acharam referring to grass, fruits, and vegetables are mentioned in this verse. Just reading this purport, right, like Prabhupada here writes, there are birds which can eat monkeys, and actually, I was reading in another purport where Prabhupada writes, where he said, like, Garuda can eat an elephant. It's very hard to imagine, but if you have faith on your spiritual master and Srimad Bhagavatam, it really helps, For a practicing devotee, you need to make sure you have faith. How can you develop faith? There are so many pastimes in Srimad Bhagavatam where we can see the different examples of Narada Muni meeting a Gopala and a Brahmana. So that's a very great example. We can just quickly go through that. Like how like faith, for faith you don't need to be a really learned person, You can just have faith on Krishna and that can be done. So in this pastime, one day when Narada Muni was traveling, and he meets a Brahmana first, and Brahmana comes and asks Narada Muni, where are you coming from? He said, I'm coming from Vaikuntha. I met Lord Vishnu. So the Brahmana asked Narada Muni, oh, you met Lord Vishnu, what is Lord Vishnu doing? Then Narada Muni says, Lord Vishnu is sitting on his couch and he's, he's pushing an elephant through the needle of he's pushing the elephant through the needle of his wall. Yes, yeah, right? I open needle, right? So he's like, this Brahmana was so like confused, right? How can the elephant be pushed through the needle, the eye of the needle, right? So then immediately the Narada Muni goes to another person. He's a cobbler. He's just sitting under a banyan tree. While he's sitting under a banyan tree, and this cobbler also asks Narada Muni, where are you coming from? He repeats that he's coming from Vaikuntha Loka, and Balaji is pushing elephant through the needle, eye of the needle. And he says, oh really? Wow, he can do that anything. And Narada asks, are you believing in this? Yes, I'm believing in this. How do you believe this? And he quotes an example. See, I'm sitting under a banyan tree. From a small seed of banyan tree, such a big tree is coming. What is not possible for the Supreme Personality of Godhead? He can do anything. So, such is the faith of a cobbler. Even though he's not studied, he did not read well all the verses, or he did not read any Bhagavatam, he's not accustomed with all the slokas, but still had faith on Krishna, that Krishna can do anything, and anything can be possible by developing faith. So when this faith is developed, our progress in bhakti also will be very fast actually. We should have faith. That is the first step actually. That is the first step in our faith. So while I was coming today, I was just going through this thing. Like I was just yesterday actually, it was so painful to see. There's a lot of bombing happening around the Middle East, and some of our devotees got stuck in Abu Dhabi airport. It was such a painful thing, and they are in the middle of the airport, and all the flights are cancelled, and they have to wait and see how it happens. So I request devotees to kindly pray for them so they can come safely back to US. You know. Why is this happening? The world is full of conflict. Why is this happening? So people don't read Bhagavatam. If you read Bhagavatam, you'll understand the essence of it. What can be done, what is good. We are our whole lifespan is what? Maximum right now, 80 years. It says 100 on paper, but it was for. I have not seen anybody recently reaching to 100. Very rare. So if we study Bhagavatam properly, we can understand that we are not this material body, we can be friendly, we can how to decrease our egos. That is very much important. So in first canto, chapter 1, verse 2, Bhagavatam mentions that material motivations and fosters a state of purity where devotees rise above envy and competition, creating competition in society centered on God, implying harmony and no quarrels among those who engage with it. So if we read Bhagavatam, it really helps. So then I can read the translation of Prabhupada's in Dharma Prodhita Kaivita, right? The first canto, chapter 1, second chapter. Completely rejecting all religious activities which are materially motivated, this Bhagavad Purana propounds the highest truth, which is understandable by those devotees who are fully pure in heart. This highest truth is reality distinguished from illusion for the welfare of all. Such truth uproots the threefold miseries. The beautiful Bhagavatam compiled by the great sage Vasudeva is sufficient in itself for God realization. What is the need for any other scripture? As soon as one attentively and submissively hears the message of Bhagavatam, the culture of knowledge, Supreme Lord is established within the heart. Once if somebody reaches to that stage, just by reading, it's not like you have to do is go and cut some trees or do some hard work. Just reading, just sit and read, and you will develop the taste for holy, you will develop the taste love of God. And then when you have Krishna will give multiple realizations. There is no need to be competitive of anything. So that is a state we should try to look for. And what is that opposite? That is the recommended thing, but what are we doing? In this material world, we always feel there is a competition between. There is competition between animals and animals. Two animals fight for prey. Man and man, community and community, nations and nations. Everybody is fighting. But devotees of Lord should rise above such competitions. And when it comes to competition, right, one good part in competition is in spiritual world, everybody has a seat. It's not like, okay, person A goes, person B cannot go. But in our, like from our childhood, right, we are trying in our minds, okay, only one person can be the topper in the class. So everybody will be like fighting for that competition. If you are getting on the train in Bombay, you won't find a seat. You are going, luckily at least in flights you don't have that competition. You have a ticket, you don't need to really go for that competition, right? But actually I was hearing from Gaurav Prabhu also mentioning this in one time. Yeah, you're so trying to be competitive, and when you come into spiritual, like associations like this, or ISKCON, or any society, right, we try to feel competitive here also. And actually, there's no need to be competitive because everybody has a slot, everybody has their own position in life. So we don't need to be competitive or envious of anyone. It's very easy to say, but sitting here and read, but to practically apply, it's very hard. So that's why proper associating with devotees, constantly talking with their mentors, it will really help us because they are the ones who can see us and give us guidance, proper guidance, right? So we should be able to be open up for them to give guidance also. It's not like, okay, they will not come and give guidance, or they will not, unless until you go. Yesterday I was talking with Shambhishar Prabhu. He was mentioning how he, because they stay in ashram, he was mentioning even like whenever he gets some instruction and he cannot follow, even then he still goes to Prabhuji to come and he said, like one time he fails, second time he fails, but after 10 times he sees his inquisitiveness, he's coming for guidance, then automatically he will be given guidance and mercy flows through that. So we should be ready for that, to accept guidance. Sometimes we may not be qualified, but we should work hard for that. We can, like, especially if you want to really take guidance from someone senior, right? We should approach them as well. So we should approach them in a humble state of mind and ask questions in a very humble state of mind. The question should not, we should not ask questions in such a way that you are trying to argue or something. In a very humble state of mind, if you argue and approach properly, we can get that mercy. So through that, our spiritual life will progress forward. So one thing we can take as a point is try not to be envious or not to be in a competitive spirit, at least in the society. So it really helps us to move forward in our path. Krishna is always watching and he knows what is good, what is not. So that way it really helps. Transcendental. So I will read one line from here. The transcendental devotees of Lord are not only free from material envy but are well blessed to everyone, and they strive to establish competition in the society with God in the center. See how much havoc is happening in the Middle East today. Everybody is bombing, big buildings are getting crashed. How many mothers, kids are there, they're waiting for food. All this is happening because we are not promoting Srimad Bhagavatam. If we promote Bhagavatam properly, everybody starts reading. It helps a lot. At least we should preaching is very much important activity for all of us. We got bhakti and we got initiated, we are good, at least we know what we can do, but if for outsiders, we should try to do more outreach programs, we should try to do book distribution. All these things will help, to change the heart of the people. So that's a great, these are the things which everybody should try to do, and not just like these lazy that okay, why should I go to book distribution or some like that, right? So if we all start distributing books of Prabhupada, Prabhupada has spent so much time in writing all these books, so we should take time to read the books and also try to promote these books, give to your friends, there are different avenues where we can do it. So we should use this opportunity, we staying here in US where at least have some financial freedom, we can buy more books, distribute wherever possible. So these are the qualities if we can develop. I was also reading one other sloka from Bhagavatam, Tiksha Karuna Shuddha Sarva Dehya Ajanta Shatru Shanta Sarva Bhusha. The qualities of the sadhu are described by Lord Kapil, his mother Prabhuji. He emphasizes that sadhu is friendly to living entities and has no enemies, Ajanta Shatru, which transcends the material divisions and conflicts. So there are so many slokas where it will really help us, I'm really sorry, I'm trying to focus on this. Somehow I got so struck with that scene yesterday that there's so much conflict happening, and because of that, I was trying to read this to clarify myself. Yeah, that's the reason I was reading through this, and we should also develop that. And if we understand and we are convinced, we can do more for the society too. So as I come back to the sloka back, so it's like, it's very hard to imagine an eagle coming and eating a monkey and all this stuff. So it is only faith, but how will a faith? How do you get faith? Faith can come because of mercy of devotees, mercy of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Unless a mercy flows from the Supreme Personality of Godhead to the living entity, it's very difficult to understand Supreme Personality of Godhead, because Krishna works in a very mysterious way. Because Krishna is the most mysterious personality of the most mysterious personalities, he is unlimited. His potencies are unlimited. He looks like ordinary human being when he appears on this planet, but he works in a very inconceivable way, very difficult to understand. Just like Krishna at the age of 7, he lifted the golden hill with a small finger on his left hand. So if somebody comes and says, hey, how can you calculate how with a small finger somebody is able to do? Can you really absorb this pastime by doing mathematical calculations? I really doubt. So it's very hard. Krishna is so small, how can he live? So this condition shows intelligence cannot match the matchless potency of the Supreme Personality of God. So we should always not think about complete intelligence, just depend on Srimad Bhagavatam, Prabhupada words. We can really believe all how Krishna is unlimited and what are his pastimes. So unless we have faith on the inconceivable potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna cannot be revealed. So we should endeavor for that nicely. how we can develop that knowledge from the Shastra, how, and also we can remember Krishna's promise. This, as I mentioned, the example of the cobbler and the Brahman. So these are the different things where we can think to develop that faith and understand that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. As we are approaching yesterday, Nandaniketan Prabhu has said, because the God Purnima is coming in next 3 days actually, Tuesday, it's only 2 more days. So I was thinking that I should at least read something from Chaitanya Charitamrita. And I was thinking, okay, which one I should have opened, and I started reading some chapters from Chaitanya Charitamrita, and I can read some of them. So that way we can start prepare for the God Purnima on Tuesday. Very mysteriously, I was thinking as to, like, okay, what should I, Shamila Prabhu said, I was thinking, what should I, try to prepare myself. I was thinking, maybe I can speak something on another Krishna. And last night I went to my bookshelf. I thought, okay, which book I should pick. And I just booked the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and just opened the book, and opened the book, and the book, it showed me Trinada Krishna from Haridas Thakur pastime. I was like surprised, how, whatever I know what it is, but I was really surprised, and I think we should read from it, and I'll just take from Chaitanya Charitamrita. I'm reading from the Glories of Haridas Thakur. This is a pastime where the Brahmana chastises, blasphemes Haridas Thakur, and what happens next. So, like even after this pastime, Haridas Thakur is saying, all of you may go, this is what Shloka, Antalila 207. All of you may now go to your homes. May Lord Krishna bestow his blessings upon you all. Do not be sorry because of my being insulted. From this purport by From this statement by Haridas Thakur, it is understood that pure Vaishnava never takes anyone's insult seriously. This is the teaching of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Trunadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Avisahishna Amamina Manadina Kirtanya Sadahari. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and weak and ready to offer all respects to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. A Vaishnava is always tolerant and submissive like trees and grass. He tolerates insults offered by others, for he is simply interested in chanting the holy name of the Lord without being disturbed. Maybe we can elaborate on this little later, but I'll read some of the slokas. So what happens next then? Hiranyadas Majumdar returned to his home and ordered the Gopal Chakravarti not to be admitted therein. Within 3 days, that Brahmana was attacked by leprosy, and as a result, his highly raised nose melted away and fell off. The Brahmana toes and fingers were beautiful like golden colored champaka buds, but because of leprosy, they all withered and gradually melted away. Seeing the condition of Gopal Chakravarti, everyone was astonished. Everyone praised the influence of Haridas Thakur and offered him obeisances. Although Haridas Thakur, as a Vaishnava, did not take seriously the Brahmana's offense, the Supreme Personality of Godhead could not tolerate it. Thus, he made the Brahmana suffer the consequences. It's a very important, I felt like, wow. Devotee can excuse, but Krishna will not tolerate if we are hurting some other person, other devotees. Translation on this. A characteristic of a pure devotee is that he excuses any offense by an ignorant rascal. The characteristic of Krishna, however, is that he cannot tolerate blasphemy of his devotees. I repeat, he cannot tolerate the blasphemy of devotees. The characteristics of Vaishnava and characteristics of the Lord mentioned in this verse are very significant. In Sikshashtakam, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has taught characteristics of Vaishnava. Again, Prabhupada writes, Trunadapi Sunichena Taroriva Srishna Amamina Manadina Kirtanya Sadahari. A Vaishnava strictly follows these principles of being humbler than grass and more tolerant than a tree, expecting no honor from others but offering honor to everyone. In this way, a Vaishnava is simply interested in chanting the Supreme Personality of Godhead and glorifying Him. Haridas Thakur epitomized this foremost order of Vaishnavism. Krishna, however, cannot tolerate any insults or blasphemy against a Vaishnava. For example, Prahlad Maharaj was chastised by his father Hiranyakashipu in so many ways, but although Prahlad tolerated this, Krishna did not. The Lord therefore came in the form of Narasimhadev to kill Hiranyakashipu. Similarly, although Srila Haridas Thakur tolerated insult by Gopal Chakravarti, Krishna could not. Lord immediately punished Gopal Chakravarti by making him suffer from leprosy. While instructing Srila Rupa Goswami about the many restrictive rules and regulations for Vaishnavas, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has very vividly described the effects of offense at the lotus feet of a Vaishnava. Yadi Vaishnava aparat ite mata. Madhyalila 19, 156 look. Offending or blaspheming a Vaishnava has been described as the greatest offense. It has been compared to a mad elephant. When a mad elephant enters a garden, it ruins all creepers, flowers and trees. Similarly, if a devotee properly executing his devotional service becomes an offender at lotus feet of spiritual master, another Vaishnava, his devotional service is spoiled. So what happens after this is Haridas Thakur becomes very unhappy when he heard that the Brahmana Gopal Chakravarti had been attacked by leprosy. Thus, informing Balaram Acharya, the priest of Hiranya Majundar, he went to the Shantipur, the home of Advaita Acharya. This is place where Haridas Thakur meets Advaita Acharya. So Haridas Thakur used to accept the food daily from the house of Advaita Acharya. They both meet together and would taste the nectar of discourse on the subject matter of Krishna every day. One day, Haridas Thakur asked Advaita Acharya, you are such a learned Brahmana and you are surrounded with great Acharyas. If people see that I am coming to you and honoring Prasad here, he says, it may be a trouble for you. Then Advaita Acharya replies that you are the best, you are the topmost Acharya of all of it. And he says, feeding you is equal to feeding 10 million Brahmanas. Advaita Acharya says, therefore accept this Shabda Patra. Thus Advaita Acharya made him eat. So Advaita Acharya clearly says there is no need to look if somebody is born in a different caste or different creed. Look, as a Vaishnava, he can become anything. That's how Prabhupada has developed his whole ISKCON society there. So that was the mood of Advaita Acharya. Advaita Acharya was able to recognize who is a great saint and he used to take care of them nicely, he used to feed them, he used to offer a lot of important things for them. So and next sloka here, it says Advaita Acharya was always absorbed in thoughts of how to deliver the fallen souls of the entire world. The entire world is full of non-devotees, he thought. How will they be delivered? So Sri Advaita Acharya sets the standard for Acharyas in Vaishnava Sampradaya. An Acharya must always be eager to deliver the fallen souls. Prabhupada writes, Acharya must always be eager to deliver fallen souls. A person who establishes a temple or a mata takes advantage of people's sentiments by using for his livelihood. What people contribute for worship of the deity cannot be called Goswami or Acharya. One who knows the conclusion of Shastras, follows in the footsteps of predecessors and endeavors to preach the Bhakti cult all over the world is to be considered an Acharya. The role of an Acharya is not to earn livelihood through income of temple. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to say that if one earns livelihood by displaying the deity in the temple, he is not an Acharya or a Goswami. It should be better for him to accept service even as a sweeper in the street. Further is more honorable means of earning one's living. And I really like this point of how Advaita Acharya was always, he was always thinking about the fallen souls. How can these fallen souls be delivered? Right? How to deliver the fallen souls of the entire world? He's always thinking. That is when the next thing comes. Determined to deliver all the fallen souls, Advaita Acharya decided to cause Krishna to descend. Within this hope, he began to offer Ganges water, Tulsi leaves to worship the Lord. So Advaita Acharya used to offer to Shaligram Shila Ganges water and Tulsi leaves for Krishna to descend. Similarly, and this is something which I actually first I catch my mind also. Similarly, along with Advaita Acharya, Haridas Thakur also used to. Similarly, Haridas Thakur chanted in the cave on bank of Ganges with the intention of causing Krishna's descent. So both of them, such exalted personalities, they both of them wanted to deliver the fallen souls in the world. So they used to constantly pray for the Lord. So this is when I read this. This is text 226. द्विजनर भक्ति चैतन्य कैल अवतार नाम प्रेम प्रचारे कैल जगत उदार. Because the devotional service of these two persons, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu descended as an incarnation, thus preached the holy name of the Lord, ecstatic love of Krishna to deliver the entire world. So this is the reason why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come. So Lord Krishna, so I just repeat it. By the devotional service of the two persons, that is Advaita Acharya and Haridas Thakur, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu descended as an incarnation. Thus he preached the holy name of the Lord, ecstatic love of Krishna to deliver the entire world. What are qualities of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is always supreme mercy and he is always compassion. He is the most merciful incarnation of Krishna, freely giving devotional service to everyone. Drives away all material lamentation. He purifies everything. By praying to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, one's transcendental bliss is awakened. He established Yuga Dharma of Sankirtana. He has taught us how a devotee should be humble, like the example of Trinadapi Sunichana. He taught us how one can be magnanimous, distributor of love of Godhead. Right? He is a transformative power. So he is a source of unlimited ecstasy and inspiration. Anybody who prays to Gauranga and they can sincerely pray, they can develop any of these qualities. Whenever I go to Prabhuji, Prabhuji, this problem, that problem, Prabhuji always first he says pray, but he immediately stop and say, pray to Gauranga. Gauranga is so merciful. He will just make sure things are working. If he says, Prabhuji, I am very feeling down, can you please pray for me? You go pray to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And especially say, go to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and pray. Such is the quality of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is so merciful. So when we reach, and he is so compassionate also. Such a compassion Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given. So I was thinking, and little people always mention, compassion means what? Passion come, what is it?
Passion come karo.
Passion come karo. And I was thinking one more line actually, for Gaurav. काम लेस करो, ज़्यादा जमा करो. Decrease your work for Gaurav Purnima day, chant more. This is what I was thinking. It was very funny, but yeah, I think we should do that. So just going back to this thing. Healing up. There is another incident concerning Haridas Thakur, uncommon behavior. One will be astonished to hear about it. Hear about such incidents without putting forth dry arguments. For these incidents are beyond our material reason. One must believe them in faith.
So he's too low.
Yeah. So what I'm saying again this sloka goes back to our faith. How we started today, we should have the faith. One day Haridas Thakur was sitting in his cave reciting the holy name of the Lord very loudly. And when the night was full of moonlight, which made waves of Ganges look dazzling, all directions were clear and bright. Thus, everyone who saw the beauty of the cave with the tulsi plant on the clean altar was astonished and satisfied at heart. So, when somebody is chanting, everybody in the seeing that picture, everybody's heart will be satisfied. At the time in that beautiful scene, a woman appeared in the courtyard. The beauty of her body was so bright that it tinged the entire place with yellow hue. The scent of her body perfumed all directions, and thinking of her ornaments started the ear. After coming there, woman offered obeisances to Tulsi plant. After circumambulating the Tulsi plant, she came to the door of the cave where Haridas Thakur was sitting. With folded hands, she offered obeisances at the lotus feet of Haridas Thakur. Sitting at the door, she then spoke in a very sweet voice. My dear son, kindly accept me and be merciful towards me, for this is characteristics of a saintly person to be kind towards a poor and fallen. After saying this, she began to manifest various postures which even the greatest philosophers would lose his patience and upon seeing. Haridas Thakur was immovable. For he was deeply determined, he began to speak to her, being very merciful towards her. I have been initiated into vow to perform the great sacrifice by chanting the holy name certain number of times every day. As long as the vow to chant is unfulfilled, I do not desire anything else. When I finish my chanting, then I have an opportunity to do anything. Sit down at the door and hear the chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. As soon as the chanting is finished, I shall satisfy you as you desire. After seeing this, Haridas Thakur continued to chant the holy name of the Lord. Thus, the woman sitting before him began to hear the chanting of the holy name. In this way, he chanted, morning approached, and when the woman saw that it was morning, she went and left. So, this continued for a few days. So, the woman comes and asks, Haridas Thakur, you are only continuously chanting, and what should I do? Then Haridas Thakur replies, my dear friend, what can I do? I have made a vow. How then can I give it up? After all, offering obeisance to Haridas Thakur, woman said, I am illusory energy, the supreme personality of Godhead. I came here to test. So Prabhupada writes in his purport, the divine energy of mind consisting of three modes of material nature is very difficult to overcome, but those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. This was actually proved by the behavior of Haridas Thakur. Maya enchants the entire world. Indeed, people have forgotten the ultimate goal of life because of dazzling attractions of material world. But this dazzling attractions, especially the attractive beauty of a woman, is meant for a person who are not surrendered to Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord says, Mam eva prapadyate mam taranti. One who is surrendered unto me cannot be conquered by illusory energy. This illusory energy personally came to test Haridas Thakur, but herein she admits her defeat, for she was unable to captivate him. How is this possible? It was possible because Haridas Thakur fully surrendered the lotus feet of Krishna and was always absorbed in the thoughts of Krishna by chanting the holy names of the Lord 3000 times daily. So Haridas Thakur took the vow of chanting 3,300 names of Lord every day. In the same way, right, if we chant, we have taken a vow of chanting 16 Lord. If we sincerely chant, we can use our intelligence, we can be surrendered to Krishna, and we can continue our devotional service without any major hiccups. There's no need to follow. As long as you follow four regulative principles, chant whatever the vow you take, Krishna and Prabhupada protects us in your spiritual master. So then Maya Devi says, and this is the interaction between Haridas Thakur and Maya Devi. I have previously captivated the mind of even a Brahmana. What to speak of others? Your mind alone I have failed to attract. So the only trick for this is to protect ourselves from any of Mayas, to chant our 16 hours sincerely and follow four regulative principles. So that's the greatest thing best we can do. So this is one more thing which I would like to read. Then Haridas says, my dear sir, you are the foremost devotee. Simply seeing you and hearing you chant the holy name of Krishna has purified my consciousness. Now I want to chant the holy name of Lord. Please be kind to me by instructing me about the ecstasy of chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. There is, now Haridas Thakur says, Chaitanya avatare vahe prema avatar manya Shabad jiva prema vashe Prithvi Hai Dharma. There is no flood of eternal nectar of love of Godhead. Due to the incarnation of Lord Chaitanya, all living entities are floating in the flood. The entire world is now thankful to the Lord. Anyone who does not float in this inundation is most condemned. Such a person cannot be delivered for millions of kalpas. Wow. So this is two slokas which really touched me, right? The first one was like Advaita Acharya Haridas Thakur praying for the Lord to come. That's another thing. This is where Haridas Thakur says. So there is a flood of eternal nectar of love of Godhead due to the incarnation of Lord Chaitanya. All living entities are floating in that flood. The entire world is now thankful for the Lord. So this Gaurav Purnima day, we should really understand how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is merciful and how we can taste that nectar, right? So this is not only given when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was there, but by mercy of Srila Prabhupada, we are all able to get this nectar, understand the philosophy, understand what is the goal of life, how to protect ourselves from Maya, how to go back. And not only that, and we can give, and when we preach, when we give this message, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is so happy. Everybody. So Prabhupada was the one who came here, very grateful for Prabhupada. He came in such a, he came in a Jaladuta, he came in a ship. That time there were no flights. The flights were there, but he was not, he could not afford to buy a flight ticket. So he purchased ticket he got the ticket from, what is it? One Desai, right? Sumati Moraji Desai. And he came to America and he gave this mercy water Chaitanya Prabhu has given. This was Prabhupada, the world could have been a great thing. So anyone, and this really attracts me, anyone who doesn't float in this inundation is most condemned. Such a person cannot be delivered for millions of kalpas. Wow. So I think we should take it very seriously, and at least devotees who got into this bhakti process should understand, take up this process very seriously. And then Haridas Thakur says, formerly, and the Maya Devi, now this is Maya Devi saying, formerly I received the holy name of Lord Rama from Lord Shiva, but now due to your association, I am greatly eager to chant the holy name of the Lord Krishna. And now Haridas Thakur says, the holy name of Lord Rama certainly gives liberation, but the holy name of Krishna transports one to other side of the ocean of nescience, and that at least gives one ecstatic love of Krishna. So if anyone has any doubt, if Krishna and Rama, so they can read this purport. After seeing this, Maya Devi worshipped the lotus feet of Haridas Thakur, who entreated her by saying, just perform the chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Now even Maya wanted to be favored by Haridas Thakur. Therefore, Haridas Thakur formally initiated her by asking her to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So we have protection from everywhere actually. So being Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, the protection from Maya Devi too. So we should not lose this opportunity. After thus being instructed by Haridas Thakur, Maya read with great pleasure. Unfortunately, some people have no faith in these narrations. Therefore, I shall explain the reasons why people should have faith. Everyone who hears this will be faithful. So here it says how to develop faith. During the incarnation of Lord Chaitanya to inaugurate the Krishna conscious movement, even such personalities as Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, 4 Kumaras took birth upon this earth, being allured by the ecstatic love of God, of Lord Krishna. All of them, including great sage, Narada, and devotees like Prahalad, came here in the guise of human beings, chanting the holy names of Lord Krishna together, dancing and floating in the inundation of love of Godhead. Such a great personalities came to release the nectar of holy name. The gods of fortune and others, allured by love of Krishna, also came down in the form of human beings and tasted the holy name of the Lord in love. What to speak of others? Even Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaj, personally descended to taste the nectar of love of Godhead in the form of chanting Hare Krishna. So, okay. I'm just completing this part so that I'm almost there. So my whole point is how to glorify, how basically if I had spoken, I could have spoken something from my mind, and I thought reading this, it was such a it's almost like speaking. Vaishnava Prabhupada writing in the purport, it's great speaking, and I thought it's like my goal was like how to understand Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give this love, and we understand sincerely, understand this process, and we can go back to God. So that was my whole thing. So yeah, this was just last one sloka, this ends the whole chapter. So let me read this one. So in the previous chapters it says Krishna himself has come to descend so that he can taste the nectar of this, right? So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the 3 worlds would dance and chant, having come in torch the love of Godhead. Holy names of Krishna is so attractive that anyone who chants, including living entities, moving and non-moving, even Lord Krishna himself, becomes indebted with love of Krishna. This is effect of chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So so Krishnadas Kaviraj says, I have described but a fragment of glories of Haridas Thakur. Hearing this satisfies the oral reception of every devotee. Praying at the lotus feet of Sri Rupa and Sri Raghunatha, always desiring their mercy, I Krishnadas narrate Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita following their footsteps. So basically, sorry for taking 10-15 minutes of reading this. I really liked it, so that's why I thought it would be helpful for me. So I was just reading instead of just speaking some different passages. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what is that something which I can really take it right? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is full of compassion. So we should try to develop that compassion. when we try to develop that compassion and try to, what compassion is, what? One thing I can say, what is compassion? Compassion we always think that compassion is for others, right? But are we really thinking, can compassion be applied to us? So I have one, I can, I was reading one article, it's outside ISKCON, but it really made sense to me. When we talk about compassion, what are we really thinking? It doesn't just mean that it is for somebody, for others or world around us. We also make compassion is for ourselves, which is often the most difficult to practice. We are always thinking about others, doing others, but what are we really doing? If you apply compassion for ourselves in our devotional life, right? How can you do that? That is by applying, understanding that you are fallen, you have fallen. Such importance, like whatever I have read, right? So you can accept the spiritual path, practice a devotion service, be faithful that to your spiritual master, practice bhakti, chant your rounds sincerely, follow four regulative principles, try not to do things which are not favorable for Krishna consciousness. So that is compassion where we can apply for ourselves, for our own individual spiritual soul. So that is one thing which I can take from this whole reading for today. This is how compassion can be applied. So as Gaurav Purnima is coming in next 2 days, we should accept, we should take this process more seriously. Whatever we are given, this is coming as a causeless mercy. So in Radhesham Prabhu was mentioning what is causeless mercy. So there is always mercy is there, but if there is a bucket, you are sending a bucket in the well, if it is straight, you can get mercy. If you tilt the bucket down, no, you cannot get mercy. So we should be able to accept the mercy. That is what it is. This is what my understanding for today. I would like to speak on this.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes, bro.
So Prabhuji, Maya Devi, she personally tested Haridas Thakur, and Haridas Thakur are so much fixed. So the thing is, can you comment something? How can we develop that kind of fixity that even if there is any distraction, then our absorption should be so deep that no distraction should actually, distract us. No object of distraction should distract us from our absorption and the holy name. Can you give some guidance?
I follow you, so that's why I don't get distracted.
No.
I sincerely see you and now the devotees in
No,
temple.
please speak something, bro. Please speak something.
Bro, you're asking a very tough question which I'm not doing, so very hard to answer that part. But one thing, what I have read, I can just share. Right?
Yes, bro.
Being fixed, like as we discussed also, being fixed in our sadhana, so that way you get mercy of your guru. You're always protected. So by being fixed, you're completing your rounds, completing your sadhana, especially your 16 rounds is very critical. That is what I hear. So it really helps you, as long as Prabhupada says, complete your 16 rounds, chant your japa sincerely. Sometimes there are some examples where one devotee didn't have a kantimala, like sakshimala, he doesn't know how many rounds he was chanting. Prabhupada was so particular that you please buy a sakshimala and make sure that you are completing your 16 rounds. Right? You may miss. Sometimes you feel you will be chanting and you try to skip some beats or something like that. It is for me what I do. I always chant extra rounds also to make sure I cover some of those mistakes what I have done. So that is one thing. So coming back, and also it's not like fixed right project. It's not that you're just saying that, and if you can apply Sikshastakam into your day-to-day life, right? Trunadapi Sunichayana. So when you try to be humble, you will be able to reciprocate. And I was just thinking, so till now we have spoke something on only like the actual philosophy. Right? If you really want to consider this Trunadapi into modern perspective, I have one great answer on that. So Api normally right now, so Trunadapi API. So normally in day-to-day in our work culture, right, there is something called API. Every day we'll be using APIs to basically, what is an API? It helps you to, like when you're searching for on Google, you want to track some flight tickets, right? You're sending a command. So what happens? So there's a database, and this API makes a call to the database, and it will pull the data for us. So in the same way, so we are like that, right? So we are also like API. We want to get mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So for that, what we have to do? We have to chant our rounds. So we have to remember that. And day to day life, there are multiple things. So in APIs also there is something called a REST, and you can get something. Either you can go and call that service to work for you, or sometimes there is another service which comes and gets the data for you. Right? So when you develop that nature, so for that, right, what I felt was as a devotee, you can be neutral, like basically ready to be pulled by somebody or pushed by someone. Then your bhakti will be strong enough. So when you are in association of devotees, you should try to develop that quality. No, you should be, if even somebody is pushing you in bhakti, accept it. Somebody is pulling you in bhakti, accept it. You don't need to be okay, nobody is pulling, still you stay in association of devotees. You will be pulled to bhakti process. Right? So I was always, whenever I read this API and work, right, I always remember this sloka, okay. And how to make sure that this API is not disturbed by anyone, be humble and tolerant as blade of grace. So even in for us, right, in cyber security, we try to encrypt and decrypt data. So here, don't encrypt and decrypt, just stay as normal devotee and just practice your bhakti. So that's how you can get mercy of the Lord and you can move forward. So this is very modern perspective of taking Pranadapi for me. It really makes me, whenever I am working, right, this API helps me thinking of, okay, how to develop. So there are different things we can explain to different new people also. So this is how I was explaining to one of my friends, and I thought I would share. Sorry if it makes sense. Doesn't make sense, please excuse me.
Very good.
That's all, Prabhu. Thank you very much. And Prabhu, you want to share something?
No. I mean, if anyone has any question
No questions, Prabhu.
So the IT devotees,
What is it?
IT devotees, you should take a class for them so that at least they can learn APIs better.
Yes, Prabhu. Maybe not. Actually, you know what? When I joined, initially I was a telecom engineer, right? So then I joined Ford, and first time my boss said, okay, AT&T is calling Gasper, and there are so many APIs which has to call. Then my colleague was Nandiniketan Prabhu's brother-in-law. I said to him, hey, what is this AP? He said, hey, that's not AP, that is API. I was thinking of it, that Sridhar actually, and he helped me understand. Then he said, there is, there are different APIs, there are different architectures, REST, and so, hey, what is REST? I don't REST. I always REST. I don't need to worry about this. And so, hey, after I became devotee, I am not using soap, I am only using organic. So that's how we make philosophy also in a very understandable way, make people not feel so scared. We make in a jovial way so they can accept it. Philosophy also. So these are certain things we normally do at work and make some friends out of and help them to come to ISKCON and stuff like that. If anybody has any special ideas, please share. We can everybody implement, try to apply. Haribo. Thank you, bros. Thank you very much.
Yeah, online, does anyone has any
No
questions?
Yeah, you can encrypt that, so that way nobody will listen. If you want to decrypt it, somebody can sponsor for today's Saturdays. I will decrypt this lecture in more IT format. And Prabhu, I was actually amazed by how AI can do things, right? This kind of right. Yeah, AI can be done, right?